Enjoy yourself.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GSL Team League. I am Moltrap. With me here is Kaldor, and with us in front of us right now is TSL's Revival, and right there is Incredible Miracles Yoda.
I want to give a quick shout out to Doa, by the way. I know that he's watching currently and he is cheering for TSL. So Doa, if you're listening right now, we miss you in Korea.
Yes, we do. You know who else is watching right now and cheering for TSL? Little guy by the name of Artosis. You might have heard of him.
Doesn't ring a bell.
No? Never mind then. Hi, Artosis! Revival really has his work cut out for him here. Yoda, very strong player, but someone he's definitely capable of beating. And by the way, that was Zelnaga Fortress I was thinking of. Thank you for all of you that did tweet at me at Moltrap to let me know about that. You can all tweet at Kaldor if you want to tell him to smack me for my puns continually. Sometimes people do that. It's okay.
Forget now.
I deserve it.
How many tweets do I need in order to you allow me really to smack you once on camera?
All right, if you get...
Come up with a number.
If you get 20 tweets.
20 tweets?
Yeah.
That's all? Okay. No.
Okay,
20
tweets.
tweets. 20 tweets.
Try to be a little reasonable here.
20 tweets to smack Moltrap and...
Oh god, I'm gonna get smacked now. I should have put a no higher number. Alright, well, up here at the top right, hoping to revive his career a little bit is...
GSTL Revival!
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I missed that. A lot better. That's what I was waiting for. Do you have another one?
Yeah, I got this one, okay?
Okay.
And down here at the bottom left...
A Terran his. Name his.
I am Yoda!
Going for the obvious, but I like it. I like it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Cloud Kingdom is the map. TSL has here the second player up. We have Revival. The score in the team war today is 1-0 in favor of Incredible Miracle, and we already have barracks, a proxy barracks. Well, not all that proxies, just a little bit.
Look at that.
That's
Brother
cute.
Family here.
That's
cute
pretty
little
cool.
babies sitting in front of us watching some StarCraft. They're raising them kids right.
Yeah, exactly. That's two pro gamers right there.
There you go. They're going to be the same class as Artosis' kid playing StarCraft. Skipping class.
The barracks was built a little bit in front of the main base. He doesn't really go for a proxy, he just built it outside his main base in order to scare the Zerg player a little bit. Revival probably won't fall for it. I suspect that he is going to scout the barracks of his opponent very early in the game. It's kind of interesting to see that he is not building the pool right away after he threw down his 15 hatch. He is just squeezing in additional drones, 2 additional drones before he starts to build his pool. Now being constructed, being morphed.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and we do see that he's made that barracks outside of his base. I think you mentioned that already, but it gets scouted by our TSL player Revival. So he's like, all right, I know what you're up to now. You're trying to be tricksy. You're making me think you're doing a crazy rush build like last game, but it's not going to work.
Oh, nice. Spotting the Overlord a little bit too late. A very nice timing. He's not able to kill it. He might actually be able to kill it if he lifts up the barracks, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. He has 2 Marines. This is a little bit the same thing that we see on Daybreak, that we've seen countless of times. Very nice. I like it. Yoda. Quite some fancy play he has. Is he able to take it out? Yes, he
Overlord
is.
goes down. And taking
Very
down
well
that
done.
Overlord right at the beginning of the game really, really hurts a Zerg player.
Oh, yes, it does. It
Actually
hurts quite a lot. He already built the Overlord, but he lost another lava, he lost 2 potential drones, and that puts you behind quite a bit. So that was a really nice move by Yoda.
He did deal with it really well, though, because I was like, oh man, he's going to get supply blocked. He was supply blocked for a grand total of 1 second. And then the Overlord popped out, so he was ready for that. He had it prepared, and he never really had to stop drone production.
We have a very early Roach run. We will see some aggression by Revival. He's already going for the Roach run. He skipped speed so far, and therefore we will see some Roaches just trying to put pressure onto Yoda, and that might actually work. He's going for the expansion and at the same time trying to get Hellions. Let's see how many Roaches we have. He has enough, well, gas for 3.
Yes, indeed. Circling, running across the middle of the map. Just trying to scout around, see what's going on. Hellion doesn't want him running free, though. Roasts him alive in the middle of the map.
Well, that's not going to be any pressure at all. He only has 2 roaches. He doesn't even build the 3rd one. He just wants to be able to repel the Hellions of his opponent. Yep, that's all there's to it.
Yeah, he immediately builds 9 drones as soon as he realizes there's only the 1 Hellion there to deal with.
A little bit more passive roach build, but we've seen a lot of Zerg players trying to get really aggressive against Terran, especially on maps with only 2 start positions. And he could have done a lot of damage given the fact that we have now a 3rd base coming up for Yoda. So if you start like Don Ragu, you start with a bunch of roaches, like with 7 of them, 7 to 9, and you can do a lot of pressure. You can kill quite a few SCDs of that. But he's just playing it a little bit more passive, going for the speed, the delayed speed here for TSL Revival, while Yoda is now going for a bunch of Marauders and still continues his Hellion production.
Yep, so things pretty much calm for the moment here. I like the fact that we see, you know, oftentimes players will just get that spine crawler at the front of their base, and then they'll take a long time to get that 3rd base up, right? But just by going for a few roaches instead, he spent a little bit more money. He's maybe had to skip a few drones, but with those extra roaches out, he's actually going to be able to take a 3rd pretty quickly if he wants to, because he won't have to worry about Hellions, you know, running in very much. He'll be able to defend against those. So it's a really interesting, kind of different approach to this.
The one thing that I don't really like is that he's not spreading his creep at all, especially with the roaches in the picture. He could have used a little bit of his energy to spread creep.
Actually. That's really true.
We have him teching to lair right now, so he has a decent amount of harvesters already. He's getting a lot of gas. We will probably see him go for 2 base Mutalisks before he starts to get his 3rd. And at the same time, we have him with a slight supply lead. Yoda's at 58, Revival at 65. At the same time, Yoda now just preparing for tanks, marines, already going for stim. Still not a single creep tumor for his opponent.
Wow, that's actually really shocking that he hasn't even connected his main and his natural yet. And yeah, you're right. He really had the opportunity here to. Well, I mean, you know what? Maybe we're seeing. You know, he's getting roach speed. Actually, it looks like we are going to see sort of that roach play, that very uncharacteristic roach play that we've seen out of Revival in the past. Hasn't really worked for him in the past, but I guess he just loves his roaches, man.
Yep, with the infestation pit on the picture and the increased amount of roaches, definitely looks like he's going for some kind of roach infester play. We have +1 upgrade, by the way, for melee, and the armor upgrade for the ground units is being researched too. So that could actually, well, that can work. But the tanks will be out very, very soon. We already have 2 tanks. He's going for the siege upgrade. Let's see if this is really going to work. We have, in regards to the harvesters, a slight lead for Revival with 48 to 43. And Cloud Kingdom, all those Hellions are still trying to put a little bit of pressure onto Revival, but he's still not spreading his creep. He doesn't really care about his creep spread, which is a little bit, well, surprising.
Yeah.
Nowadays, most Zerg players really try to focus on creep spread because they realized how important it is. A couple of months back, most Zergs, or a lot of Zergs, didn't really care about it all that much until they just realized that not only the vision, but also the speed advantage that you get is just so important.
Well, I mean, you basically need creep. When I mean, it's the difference between having an advantage and not. When you're talking about, you know, speed Banes versus stim Marines, if you're on creep, the Banelings have a big advantage. If you're off creep, the Marines can outplay them.
And you also delay your opponent's pushes and force a lot of scans, and that would help Revival a bit, because now we have Yoda moving out with his army, and he's going to target the 3rd, and that 3rd will be in a lot of trouble. The Queen is trying to get there, but now off creep, very, very slow. He has to cancel. There's no way he can hold this position. Finally trying to spread the creep a little bit, but with a decent creep spread he can just delay the pushes of the Terran player, because he can force him to be a little bit slower and to, yeah, just try to scan ahead and kill the creep tumors.
Yes, indeed. Now, he did just have Pathogen Glance finish, but he actually mistimed by a second. By 1 second, a couple infestors popped out before Pathogen Glance finished, so he is not going to have bungles on the first 2, but now he's got 4 more popping out as well, so he's going to have a lot of infestors, a lot of lings, and, you know, he got roach speed, and he's getting 14 roaches as well.
But they're a bunker already, and the army is in position to take on these roaches and infestors. Revival is now using his first fungus, but the siege tanks are sieged up And, well, I have to say, I don't really like Revival's play right now. He's losing way too many units. He lost his third base that he tried to establish, and at the same time, Yoda is already on 3 bases, so he's ahead in bases, ahead in economy, also ahead in harvest account, 58 to 49, including 3 mules.
Yeah, wow, this is a really kind of crazy play by Revival. He just got not that big of an economy, and really went bullish on all of these roaches, heavy upgrades on his Zerglings as well. So very interesting strategy here by Revival. We're going to see if it pays off for him or not. He has a lot of infestors out now. A lot of infestors. I think he's got like 6 to 8 infestors. And so he's going to have a lot of powerful spells to cast in future battles.
But look at Yoda. Yoda is now going for the Ghost Academy. He will have ghosts that can not only counter with Snipe and EMP the infestors, but at the same time are pretty awesome if Revival decides to get Brood Lords or Ultralisks, which he will definitely do in the next stage of the game. So this is really, really weird. That is some kind of Roach Ling transition into GG.
Transition into GG. I mean,
I'm serious about it. He needs a nice win now. He's on the same amount of units as his opponent. He is on. He will be on 3 bases very soon. He just built a huge amount of harvesters, so he's on 63 drones against 70. But he's finishing Hive. But at the same time, the 4th base for Yoda is being built now. He has a very good army. He has 89 army supply against 86. But I think that his unit composition is just superior to the one of Revival.
He's been on 3 bases. I mean, it depends on. We're gonna have to see how this plays out. I could see this maybe working somehow if he's able to tank a lot of damage with. Oh, hold that thought. This drop gets spotted.
That was well done.
And he is going to kill that as long as he gets another fungal off. There it is. Then the Fest and Terrence will finish it off.
Revival hasn't lost it yet, but I just don't like his opening in this game. He hasn't lost the match yet. Don't get me wrong. He still has a fighting chance, and they are both at the same supply. He's now getting not only the Ultras Cavern, but also already his Adrenal Glance upgrade. If those drops do a bit of damage, then he might be in some trouble, though. Well, but they have been spotted.
Yeah, they got spotted by those burrowed Zerglings. Very, very cool move by Revival to burrow those Zerglings there. So he's going to be prepared for this drop. I don't know if he quite realizes that it's 3 medevacs, though. 3 Ghost Academies. Oh, wow. Is he going to go nukes? This could be interesting. The drops do land over here because they know they've been spotted. They're going to drop out and just kind of group up. But is he going to hunt down those forces? He's got infestors and lings hunting
Revival
for that.
has actually a decent upgrade advantage. He's on 2-2 now already. Yoda isn't, and Revival is researching +3/+3. And I have to say it, as much as I didn't like the opening of Revival, I have to say that Yoda is making a lot of mistakes too. He could put a lot of pressure on this opponent, but he didn't. And now there's the fight, but once again, Revival is losing too many units, and he will lose all the infestors.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing with those infestors, man. He basically trapped his own forces. I thought that he was going for a trap of his own. He was going to trap that drop, but then instead he's like, I'm going to send in. He had a burrowed Zergling there. He knew the command center hadn't landed. He knew there were no SCVs there. There was no reason to go in with his Zerglings. He was attacking a refinery, and instead he got his forces sandwiched between the drop and the main force of Yoda. It was, I don't know what he was thinking there, but maybe he didn't think the drop was going to surround him, I guess. Cloak Ghost going in. Oh, they get fungled. Some snipes going off. But the Ghosts do die. Will it be enough, though? There's still a strong force heading up into the natural.
He's not researching +3/+3. That's one of his big problems. So will be very soon as the upgrades for the Zerg kick in. But now there's a huge force. Nice bundles. But the stim is enough in order to kill most of the Ultralisks. The last one of the few survived roaches might be enough to clear off that army of our Zerg player. But the tanks in the back still do a massive amount of damage. And TSL Revival is dropping in supply right now. 120 against 170 supply. This base is under a lot of pressure. Our Terran player from Incredible Miracle is doing very well once again. The Mana Mules get called down. Wow.
And he should maybe
keep going for the dance.
Dancing the Marines and Marauders as well. Even going to get this Infestor, but support can do anything. Shuts down the upgrades. No +3 Carapace. I think this game is pretty much over there, though, because the economy of Yoda is soaring. He is producing so many units that he is actually increasing in supply. despite the fact that some of his units are dying, because he is producing units so much faster. And any moment now, we're going to see a GG coming from Revival. He put up a good fight and an interesting strategy. You know, very interesting to see him going for this unusual Roach play, but didn't work out for him.
Didn't work out at all. He made so many mistakes in the early game, at least I have the impression that he did. And even though, well, Yoda didn't play it perfect, but Revival strategy, he had a third base way too late. Yoda was already ahead in bases and just capitalized on it. GG, there it is, and Yoda takes down the second player for TSL.
Alright, well, Yoda is up 2-0, man. He has actually gotten 2 kills on Team TSL thus far, and I think TSL is going to have to bust out someone good, someone a little bit bigger guns. What's so funny?
Sorry, but I just stepped out, and I'm really sorry, Motor, but I have 56 new tweets. Even with your 50.
Oh, fair enough. Are they all telling you to smack me, though?
Do you want me to check them now?
No, that's okay. We can wait.
We'll wait for the next break, I guess. I actually thought you would go for 100, but for 20, too easy, son.
Well, yeah. I only got like 5 tweets about the map, so I'm like, well, 20 is a reasonably larger number than 5, right?
Okay, if you compare it to 5,
I underestimated
that's all right.
how much people want me to get smacked on camera.
It's just a way it's just an awesome opportunity to have some fun on camera. You should never underestimate people, I think. Well,
that's true. That's very true, actually.
To talk a little bit about the players, you should never underestimate Yoda. I mean, that guy's a Jedi after all. 2 wins.
2 wins in a row. You know, they haven't been against the strongest players, though. So we'll see who TSL sends out next and who they're going to try and choose to take out Yoda. I mean, Yoda's not even one of the top players on IM, and he's still gotten 2 kills, so...
I can promise you one thing.
What's that?
It won't be a Zerg. Look at the next map.
Very good point. Very good point.
Calm Before the Storm, ladies and gentlemen. We definitely won't see a Zerg player on Calm Before the Storm.
Probably not. Well, do you think they're going to send out Pult now? Or do they have someone else in mind, you think?
I actually doubt it.
Probably not Pult.
They can still go
maybe
for
one of their
Protoss.
lesser knowns.
There they are.
I don't know. I'm not, you know, too familiar with the other players on TSL.
Dream. I think Dream.
Maybe. And that is going to be Cyrano. Interesting. A guy that we do not know too much about.
Yes, we actually don't.
All right, so
But
Cyrano's
it's
a Protoss player. Kim Yong-jin. Kim Yong-jin.
Yep. Yeah, we have a Protoss player coming up. I actually thought they would pick Dream, but no, they go for Cyrano. Protoss player nonetheless on Calm Before the Storm. Definitely a good choice.
Yeah, I think that is a good choice. I like that they're switching it up. They're not going with another Zerg. They're going with a Protoss here instead. And yeah, so we're going to see a PVT, Protoss versus Terran, on Calm Before the Storm. We're going to find out what Cyrano has in store. Look at this. He's really warming up fast.
He's definitely a strategy up his sleeve. I mean, on Calm Before the Storm, you can do a lot of shenanigans. We have a Protoss versus Terran coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Currently just waiting for the player of TSL to join the lobby. As you can see, he's now preparing, trying to get ready for the next match.
Yep. Well, you want to make sure you get your hotkeys set up before the game.
Exactly.
So you don't find out after losing a big battle that your hotkeys were wrong. Very, very important. Uh-oh. Cyrano's talking to himself. I wonder if he's a talker. Like Choya. Choya always talks to himself in the booth. There we have the Manor Banners for TSL and Incredible Miracle. And yeah, wonder how we're going to see here. Cyrano's going to take a few minutes to get his gear set up, get his settings all situated and what have you before he joins the game. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting. Yoda, you know, he's not traditionally, well, historically I should say, that good against Zergs, but he's a little bit better against Protoss players. So this might favor him in that sense. But he's been in the TVZ mindset for a little while. So, you know, he's been thinking of other kinds of builds. I don't know.
It's really a problem now for TSL. They've been off to a really, really bad start. They already lost 2 maps, and it is a best of 9, ladies and gentlemen. So you only need 5 wins in order to decide that clan war in your favor. And we still have players like Nasty, we have MVP, we have Luzira on the team of Incredible Miracle. So this is going to be quite the problem for TSL. If they would have defeated Yoda on the first map, then it might have gone a different way. But right now they are already having a problem sniping the first player that Incredible Miracle send out.
Yeah, that's always the problem. We're going to see if Cyrano is maybe a stream, or a next stream, you know, player who comes out of nowhere and actually like takes down a few good players. Or if he's just going to be another bit of fodder for the Incredible Miracle team. Do not know too much about him.
They must have, no, I actually don't, but they must have a reason in order to send Serrano out. Maybe he's really, really strong against Terran on this particular map, because when you are down 2 maps, then you can't gamble. You have to send out you don't want to send out Pole just yet. You don't want to keep Pole a little bit longer. As we said earlier, you want Pole to kill one of the heavy hitters of Incredible Miracle, and but you have to send out a player that has a really, really good chance at defeating your opponent. So if they send out Serrano, then they will definitely have some strategy planned out for Serrano against Terran on Calm Before the Storm.
Yeah, I think you're right. And you know, I say this a lot, but it bears a little bit of repeating in this situation. Oftentimes, the coaches will have a player specifically plan a strategy for a map, for a situation. Okay, you're going to be our PvT sniper. If we need to take out a Terran really badly, you'll go in on this map, on this situation. He'll have a build planned for it. Especially, you know, Coach Lee, he's been a coach for a long time. He was a Brood War coach before this, so he's really going to be on top of having his players prepare certain strategies for that. And he's going to be the one that's going to know, okay, who is a good player who hasn't performed in, you know, Code A yet or anything like that, who's going to be good for this situation. So we will have to see, though. Yoda, you know, he's still... It's not like this is MVP who's owning one. This is just Yoda, so he's not someone who's impossible to get around. He's not someone impossible to beat.
Exactly. Usually what a lot of teams do, especially when they have very good players, they send out not really like a pawn into the first game, but they send out a lesser-known player, someone that can, for once, prove himself a little bit. They can to show how good it is. And that you can actually sacrifice in order to get a decent go into your opponent's better players, so that he can react to what's happening.
Exactly.
So Yoda is definitely not a player that we should... Well, he took down two opponents already, so he definitely is good, but he's not, as you mentioned, like MVP, like Nesty. All those heavy hitters will come later, and TSL has to win games. They have to win games right now.
Yeah, they definitely got to get a few kills under their belt. Cyrano, TSL's really hoping that he can at least get 1 win, you know? He doesn't have to beat a lot, like next stream or anything like that, but if he can at least get 1 win out there, that brings it to a 2-1 situation. That's not nearly as, you know, desperate as a 3-0 situation, being down 3-0. So, and then they'll have a chance of kind of getting back into it, because then TSL still hasn't really sent out, you know, their heaviest hitter yet either.
And here they are. We have to the left TSL Serrano clapping his hot pack, and they are awesome. Calm Before the Storm. He's nervous. Look at him. Wow, that guy's tense.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we've seen anything from him before. So, yeah. I mean, he might be a little bit nervous. This is something that Yoda actually might have over Cyrano, is that he's got some experience. He's got a lot of stage experience already. Anyway, the game is about to start. Can Cyrano bring a victory home for TSL, or will Yoda go 3-0? We're going to find out right now.